I'm so honored. For the next 10 minutes, we actually have one of our wonderful members of the SANE community joining us from the United Kingdom, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Mike Keane, who, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. And can you just tell us your amazing story? I mean, you've been a medical professional for decades, and tell us about your history and then your transformation to sanity.
Greetings from the United Kingdom, Jonathan. I've been a qualified doctor since 1977. And at the beginning of my career, I used to work in the prestigious Harley Street Diet Clinic in the middle of London just to earn some pocket money while I was slaving away for 120 hours a week in the National Health Service. The way that they tended to earn their huge incomes was not dependent on the dieters' success, but dependent on their failure. Because as many times as they came back, there would be more income for the clinics. I managed to stick with it for a few months, prescribing diuretics and appetite suppressants, but really wasn't very happy with the situation, so I decided to cut right out of it. I then went into general practice in 1983, and started espousing the value of soluble fiber, high protein, but not too high protein, and at that time, low-fat diets. All that time, my weight started to creep up. And to cut a long story short, I got up to over 18 stone, which in your money is 252 pounds, and decided in April this year that I'd start Googling around the internet, looking for something that was a little bit more long-term than my yo-yoing, which I had been doing for maybe 40 years, without success, because every time I tried to lose weight, I found it more and more difficult each time. I just happened upon Smarter Science to Slim by accident, and thought I'd have a read and a listen, and a listen, and another listen to another podcast, and yet another podcast, until I was pretty well hooked, and decided that it was sensible to perhaps try an evidence-based process rather than an anecdote-based process. So I cut out the bread, I cut out the pasta, I cut out the rice, I started eating more meat, I started eating more fish, I started eating more low-starch vegetables, and the weight started to drop off, as I expected it would. The first 8 pounds of any diet obviously is water, as your glycogen is converted. And so I thought, okay, well, let's stick with it a little while and see what happens. And I started losing 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds a week, whilst filling my belly with the most wonderful, nutritious, satisfying foods, and not really feeling hungry and not really having any room to eat any more. So I continued, and since April, I've lost 48 pounds. My BMI has gone down from over 30 to 26.2. My waist-hip ratio has gone down to below 1, and I feel incredibly, fantastically energized.
Mike, it's so wonderful to hear, because you touched on some amazing points that I really want to highlight, and that's first and foremost that you are a medical practitioner with over 40 years, I believe, of experience. You've seen, you've been on the front lines of this, and you've seen what people have done. You've tried that yourself. And what do you think causes even the most, myself, you, everyone out there, before we see this science, we continue to keep trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Why do you think we do that? Not to get too metaphysical.
Because we're scared, Jonathan. We're scared of trying something different. We're scared of the unknown. We're comfortable with what we know. We're comfortable with what we hear people telling us is right, even if it is anecdotal. And we're comfortable in our little boxes, not having to think outside the box.
And Dr. Mike, I know you have since, obviously your example has started to inspire so many people around you. Can you tell us a little bit about how your sane lifestyle has permeated the lives of those you love?
Indeed. I'm a prolific Facebooker, I have to say. And I have quite a number of Facebook friends. And a number of those friends, I used to be a senior divisional police surgeon working with Hertfordshire Constabulary for about 25 years. And a number of them are overweight senior ex-police officers who have been reading what I've been writing on Facebook and have decided that they'd like to try your way rather than the other way. So I've been mentoring, I've had them over to my house, talked to them, I've been supporting them, and they've never felt better. They're losing weight, they've never felt better, they're not hungry, they go out to restaurants, they live their lives, they just modify their lives according to this new mantra, which seems to work.
Mike, I think it's so important to highlight not only your success, but the fact that your success is having this ripple effect, because it can, let's be very clear, it can sometimes be hard to make this transition, but when you realize that we have the power, each as individuals, to literally save the life. I mean, you are saved. I mean, obviously you're a doctor, so you've saved many lives throughout your life, but even now, outside of your practice, your example is literally saving people's lives.
I hope so. I hope so. They're listening and they're doing, and it's working, so they're keeping on doing, because it's not interfering with their lives as a diet would do, and as their diets have done. They get in the way, they're boring, they don't last very long because they just can't stick to them. But this, they're seeing the results, but more importantly, Jonathan, they're feeling the results.
Absolutely.
They're feeling incredible. They're feeling, as I am, energized. I mean, hell, I'm in the gym at 6:30 every morning. And that's on Greek yogurt, chia seeds, and blueberries, so that can't be bad.
Mike, I love that. What have you found to be just a few, let's say maybe the top 3 things you do personally that you found really help you to maintain your sanity as quickly and effectively as possible? Like these are your top 3 either go-to meals or go-to strategies.
Okay, first strategy is I don't hunt anymore at night, Jonathan. At night, I used to, after I'd eaten an evening meal, perhaps sitting down watching the television, I used to get up, go into the kitchen, open all the cupboard doors, open the fridge, look for something sweet, look for something that would satisfy my cravings. So, number 1, I don't do that anymore. That's been extinguished.
And when you say, Mike, when you say you don't do that, is that because you're just like gritting your teeth and powering through it?
Absolutely not, Jonathan. Absolutely not. The urge has gone.
Yeah.
It has been extinguished. I don't grit my teeth to do anything, but I certainly don't feel the need to go and pour sugar into my body. Amazing. Or carbohydrate. However, having said that, I do eat Carrie Brown's ice cream, which I've got churning in the kitchen at the moment. So that's the second plank, is that I'm finding an alternative that satisfies the cravings that I used to have that I don't have anymore, that's keeping me fuller for longer and stopping me from hunting.
Brilliant, Mike. Well, I so appreciate, I know it's late there for you, and you continue this amazing mission of not only sanitizing your entire life, but setting a life-saving example for everyone who knows you. And your example is inspirational to me. Hopefully it's inspirational to everyone watching this, and certainly to the studio audience. So thank you for saving lives, Dr. Mike Keene. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye, Jonathan.